Teresa Day Spa. She has been instrumental in putting India on the global wellness map, and her efforts in education are appreciated all across the country. Joining us from Paris is John Gay de Gabriac. I hope I got your name right. founder
Right.
of founder of World Wellness Weekend. He's an award-winning advisor, innovator, and educator, elevating guest experience for hotel groups, iconic properties, and leading cosmetic brands with Tip Touch International. Then we have with us Dr. Manoj, who is the Wellness Director at Atmantan Wellness Resort. He is a qualified naturopath and a third generation healer from Kerala. To him goes the credit of introducing Ayurvedic and naturopathic medicine in the West Indies. He is also a public speaker and a columnist. And finally, we have with us Rajan Kalra, founder Beautiful Soul Private Limited, a globetrotter and travel marketeer. Rajan has carved a niche in the wellness segment by specializing in wellness tourism and organizing retreats. He, along with our other panelists, will bring about a 360-degree perspective of the present situation and the spa industry. Well, welcome aboard, all of you. It is lovely to have you join us for this session. So what we are witnessing today is completely new. Call it bizarre, crazy, novel, or whatever you like. But the world has never seen the likes of this before. There is so much uncertainty and speculation all around us. And suddenly the word positive has become the most negative word. And yet we cannot afford to give up on positivity and hope. So let's start with the very basic question that's bothering all spa owners. Will the spa industry bounce back after COVID-19, and how? Rekha, I would like you to take this question up by presenting your views on the current situation about the spa industry opening up.
Thanks a lot, Kanishka. It's a beautiful introduction given by you for all of us, and we are really delighted to be on the professional beauty platform. And especially like when you are talking about whether spa will bounce back. So yes, we are in the wellness industry, and wellness industry has to have the positive attitude. Coming back to the beauty and wellness service industry, which includes the operators, then proprietors owned by or operate by the units, so it's small or big chains, and then medium size of chains. All of them are there as a formally or any informally. We are working in the industry, and especially like beauty salons, spa, nail salons, nails spas or wellness services, yoga, and alternative therapies, fitness, many of this, various of this, including the beauty manufacturers. Right. So if we consider this, the beauty and wellness service sector is one of the largest employer of the skill. If it is come to the skilling, right. So it is the largest employer of the skilled and semi-skilled person, in the country. You must have realized that is, whenever it comes to the skilling, Narendra or Prime Minister is always giving us the priority in the coming in the 5 to 10 sectors, and giving the lot of opportunity for the industry to in the skilling sector. So right. Our industry offers nearly 1.50 crores employees in our sector. Right. Where 60% are women in the majority, who is the bread earning for their family. So I will say right. Of course industry means spa will come back surely, but there will be the time which we have to take the step by step action in the reopening of the industry, because COVID-19 is a outbreak and extended lockdown now. It's threatening for everybody and completely disturbing everyone's livelihood. Mostly our employees. So I feel like industry coming back. Yes, of course. We have to take the certain steps, which I'm going to talk in the next session with you. Sorry, next question with you. But I feel like we are in the in wellness background people, and we have the positive attitude. Considering the today's scenario, we have to take the precaution, but we have to prepare ourselves accordingly. Industry demand. So right. Spa industry will be surely coming back, but with the again, I'm saying again with the step by step action what we have to take. because we are closely working with the it's like, it is the industry where we are directly working with the human interaction, and we are directly
there is more human
touching
touch. Yes,
human touch. So which will be challenges, but of course there will be the of course owners, we are talking with each other and planning how we can come back with the with the systematic way. So
right. So
yeah.
step by step is your recommendation for the industry that to come back, to make a comeback, they need to take a step-by-step action, have a day-by-day plan of coming back. John Gee, would like to come to you and understand what is the situation like in France? What is the global perspective about spas coming back in action?
The situation is about the same as everywhere in the world.
Right.
The lockdown has caused thousands of businesses to close, and they are still closed to this day. The government has announced after a 3-week lockdown that it will be pushed until Monday, 11 of May. Okay. And on that date, apparently, because things can change by the day or by the week, there is a radical level of uncertainty. All we can do is be prepared, get ready for different scenarios of opening or opening progressively, as Dr. Rekha Choudhary has said. So I'm in touch with different organizations. As the founder of World Wellness Weekend, we're partnering with the largest association of beauty salons in France. They have 1,100 beauty salons that are getting ready to reopen in 3 weeks. We're also in touch with Label Spa de France. They have 200 spas throughout France, and they're also getting ready. Some really want to get ready right away because they cannot wait. Because they cannot afford to wait. They need to offer their services, charge, and earn some revenues. Others, because they miss their clients tremendously and they love this industry. They love this industry so much for what it brings in the social relationship with their clients. So they miss them, and they are missed also by their clients, and they want to reopen. Others are more maybe managers or directors, not driven impulsively by emotions or by the absolute need to charge, and they're looking at cash flow. Right now, they're not making money, but they're not spending money. Some have had agreements with their landlords to stop the rent or to push the rent for later. Some have turned to the government for a relief package and have some compensation for taxes, for part 70% of salaries of estheticians and beauticians. But the other ones are thinking, maybe we should not reopen right away. They could, but it's complicated to have all the sanitation elements in place, the plexiglass, the masks, the sanitation products. Also, the speed with which the clients are going to come back is going maybe to take a long time. So it could spike, but scenarios are that it's going to take time. So if they reopen, they will have maximum operating expenses right away, where maybe they should start, they should wait a little bit. And this is for standalone properties. Very quickly, standalone properties do not have to ask for permission from a boss, a group spa director, or a GM to open. So beauty salons and standalone spas could open first. Hotel spas will be waiting for first the hotel to reopen stage by stage. And when they have enough rooms open and they know they can attract, then the spas after the restaurants probably will be reopened. Some hotels in France have already said that they will not reopen throughout the summer. They prefer not to take the risk of having low occupancy, and they prefer not to open. So for the local spas and salons, it could be a much faster reopening than for hotel spas.
Right, that's a very valid point from you. Of course, standalone spas, like you said, have the authority to go ahead and open it, whereas hotel spas or destination spas might take longer, depending largely on how tourism works. So coming to destination spas, Dr. Manoj, we'd like to have your opinion on spas bouncing back from a destination spa perspective.
Thank you, Kanishka. So speaking about destination spas, most of these spas are very much in terms of inbound tourism. So what we will see like in future, like when we reopen, I think there will be a decline on inbound tourism for at least like 6 to 8 months. People may not be traveling, like, and having spoken to many of the travel partners, what I feel is the initial phase, like of two to 3 months in India, it will be very critical for us to promote the business within the city. Like even pan India, there will be a lot of restrictions that are still prevailing even after the lockdown. So when we reopen, the first focus will have to be bringing the customers which are actually in a nearby city where they will be much more easier to travel. And then the second phase will be more of a kind of a domestic market, like where you will be having travelers from pan India. And I think it will take about 6 to 8 months for a foreign nationals to come to India. That too with a lot of restrictions and a lot of criteria in place, which has to be coming from the government side as well. It's not only a private sector to decide how the customers can travel. So that is one aspect. And besides that, you will see a lot of interest being generated, like once we reopen. And sometimes, like I think personally, for a spa industry, it is actually going to be a completely a cutoff point, like where you will be moving into, or you'll be much more focused from a simply a leisure, beauty and luxury perspective to more of a kind of health and wellness perspective. And also trying to understand what is the psychological need of a customer. In the past, we used to run a lot of promotions, like a lot of discount offers, and that used to attract a lot of people actually. But I think once we reopen, people wouldn't mind paying for a premium if they understand that there is a better standard of practice, there is a better standard of hygiene for this particular product. And I think that will attract more customers, and plus the ultimate motive behind offering a service. Because you may not see like a lot of people like attracted for a simple relaxation massages, although that would be also like one aspect which will be more like a de-stressing treatment. You will see a lot more people where there is a promising result in terms of improving the health, improving the wellness. Because I think there is a major now, like with this current situation, people have realized, and definitely the time period that you're seeing is two different eras. You have like a pre-COVID era, and what we will be seeing like a post-COVID era, which will be completely different in an operational perspective. And I personally think, like people wouldn't mind spending for a burning issue. It's just like, taking a painkiller and a vitamin pill. Okay, one may be like it may be a continuous process of taking a vitamin pill, but that is just a need. It's not a need. It's just like I would like to have it, right? So I wish to have. So you will see customers spending more for like their own personal health, and also get better and healthy.
Right. So a change in your approach towards your business and offering a holistic wellness service package is what can be the need of the hour post-COVID.
I think at least for some, yeah.
Right. I'll now move on to Rajan, who can bring in the whole tourism perspective. Like the other experts have mentioned, wellness tourism is likely to remain in the backseat for many months to come. Rajan, what is your view on the matter?
Yeah, thank you, Kanishka. Firstly, I'll just divide it into three, this question into, three parts.
Yeah.
See, our government was quick in taking steps. We could contain the spread. And right now, the focus is very clear to stand with the government and flatten the curve. So somewhere down the line, globally, India has been taken as, our death rate per capita is very low. And we, end of the COVID, the post-COVID state, we would be, so it's a very positive, it's a very positive news as such that, our death rate is being very well controlled. So this is one part. The second thing is the stigma of stepping out. This is going to prevail for at least 2 to 3 months. Stepping out and being part of anybody in close proximity. I guess that stigma is going to stay for 2-3 months. and next few months, nothing will pick up. As far as the inbound tourism is concerned, I am very sure about it. It's going to take a minimum of around 12 months minimum for seeing the real movement, because most of the inbound tourism which happens from the key countries like France, Germany, UK, Russia, so these countries are badly hit, and somewhere every country will come up with those added visa restrictions for citizens with highly infected, coming from these highly infected countries. India has always been rigid on visa processes, and this visa process is going to get only lengthy. So I see that we have to wait and watch. We have to see how India opens up to various countries. We were the first to close our flights. We were the first to close our borders, and we were pretty proactive on it. And this is something which would be very crucial for us to see the inbound tourism happening. So I see this taking some amount of time to come into place as such.
Right.
Yeah?
So that is, I'm glad you brought that up. That overall, how India, the government and the state governments react to the opening up and lifting of the lockdown will also determine how much the spa business will push forward. John Gee, you mentioned that there are several spas in France who are already prepping up to open up after the 3-week hiatus. So what precautions do you think are mandatory, and what should be voluntarily done by the spas as they gear up to open the doors?
That's a big question, because I believe it is essential that the spa salons associations come up with the regulations that we as an industry need and want to implement as quickly as possible. We should not wait for governments and administrative people in governments, and especially if, for instance, in India or in the US, there are different states with states regulations, or for instance, in France with regions. We have one major national regulation, but different regions for you states might have a different take on this. So we need, as an industry, to come up with our certifications and our new standard operational procedures. As a consultant and an educator for the past 19 years, I've always encouraged SOPs, standard operational procedures, not to be sanitized operational procedures, because sometimes it's just too cold, it's just too straightforward, and SOPs should be maybe superior operational procedures. So yes, sanitization and health are going to come to the forefront. What do you do when people are just about to enter your venue, your salon, your spa, your hotel, your restaurant? I'm very lucky with the World Wellness Weekend to be partnering with the United Nations Global Sustainability Index Institute Foundation. This is the foundation that is working with the UN on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And the third one is good health and well-being for all. And with the help of WIS, the World Health Innovation Summit, they have identified a supplier that can create some kind of a corridor for 3 meters. And you just walk in there and you are sprayed with a non-aggressive product, water and salt, on your face, on your clothes, on your hair, to kill any germs, and especially COVID. It has been tested for that. So this is what you can do from outside to inside. And then inside, apparently now everyone is talking about plexiglass or glass, so that there is something between you and the person, or the visors where you can have something so that you can be protected. Of course, masks are needed, but right now there is a shortage of masks. There's a lot of spa uniform manufacturers that are being very reactive, proactive, and have started creating their own textile masks. So at least there's this protection. Our industry, now everyone, of course, for the past few weeks have been talking about washing hands. First, your grandmother told you about washing your hands several times a day. So it's not news if you listen to your grandmother, not so much your grandfather, but your grandmother, she was always telling you to wash your hands. So this is something we should continue. But also in our industry, you always wash your hands in the presence of the guest before any massage. Maybe it will be necessary to wash it twice, just for the client to feel even more secure to what you're going to do. The use of essential oils can also be very interesting in what they have for anti-fungi, antibacterial, and this is something that we have already in the stock of the spas. I strongly believe, maybe this is not so new for you in India, but I strongly believe that Ayurveda is going to have very strong comeback in France, because it's not just something you enjoy with yoga, it's not just something you enjoy with Abhyanga or Vishesh or different types of massages. It's also something you learn because it is the study and the science of health and longevity. So through the things you apply on your body or you eat, right now we're having daily shots of ginger and curcuma. How do you say this in English?
Curcumin, turmeric.
Turmeric, absolutely. And this is something we have. So I believe spas should not just focus on beauty, they should go beyond beauty. The beauty industry is very strong, but as Manoj said, we need to make our industry relevant. We need to focus on what really helps to boost the immune system. So we should use this time still being closed or in the weeks of reopening to improve our knowledge, improve the expertise of the team, upgrade whatever they were able to do. And for instance, with World Wellness Weekend, we have 5 pillars: good sleep, nutrition, more movement, being more active more often, more mindfulness. And this is something that you can have through yoga, through pranayama, through mindfulness, through meditation. This is part of your heritage. And this is something we're just rediscovering and definitely bringing into what we do in daily practices. And the last one is sense of purpose. So if estheticians, massage therapists use this time to read, to increase their knowledge in these 5 levels, in these 5 pillars of wellness, they can definitely add a conversation and insights and wellness tips to any consultation, any session. We need to improve the added value to the relationship, not just putting products on place.
Right. Rekha, would you like to add something to this?
Yes, of course, very valuable points Janki has given already. But I would like to say, like, in India, actually, spa industry itself is a very small industry at this moment, which we are aware about that, because mostly dominated by the beauty, dominated by the hair, nail industry, but compared to that. So top of that, another challenge what we all of us are facing till today, our industry is not regularized by the government. So there is no licensing procedure which we are carrying forward with the many all these outlets. So despite of having the regular problem, top of that, this is a problem which we can't rectify, or we can't correct this mistake if small mistake also happen through the any employee or any owners. So I feel like administrative control is a most important part what everyone has to play as a owner or as a organization, because there are the lot of changes they need to, engineering changes, I mean to say, they have to make it in the premises wherever they are offering the services. Top of that, there will be the stage where customer is coming, that first stage, then customer is inside, means customer is booking the treatment. After that, customer is coming in the premises, and after customer is leaving the premises. So these 3 step, they have to administrate closely, and they have to take care of the this, because owner will have the another challenge. Owner will have the, like, my worry is that they don't become the insolent, because problem is what today they have the lot of problem for the cash flow in the organization to maintain the all these, like salaries and rent and all these things. They are already loaded with this all this tension. Top of that, making the more hygienic place, making the more, offering the more individual kits to the customers, and then individual kits to the therapists. And this will be the another challenge for the small owners. Of course, the hotels and big organization can take care of this but the small owners have the really big challenge for this kind of things, because they have the another tension for the maintaining the cash flow for the other activities.
Absolutely.
So
So they are like mostly one man show. They need to look at
right,
manage a lot of
right,
things. Right.
right.
Okay. Dr. Manoj, what do you have to say about maintaining optimum staff performance? Like, how do you ensure that your employee strength is maintained even post COVID, and that they are delivering their optimum?
See, before I just like come to the specific question, like I just want to add to the measures that we need to undertake as a spa business.
Right. Sure.
Like there will be a lot of mandate that comes from the government about strict measures that need to be taken, like which are mandatory for the operation. But in addition to that, there are certain measures that we need to do, like internally as well, because as Jean guys said, we should not be waiting for the government to just like advise us like what to do. So I think one of the key factor here will be staff training. This is really critical at this period of time. We should consider this opening phase or reopening phase as an opportunity for us to train from ABC. It's not only like, just because we have done the training in the past, it may not be just, it need to be refreshed in the mind about the importance of maintaining this hygiene, importance of maintaining the personal sanitation, personal hygiene, people who have been coming up with symptoms. So not only the guests, but even the staff have to be screened on a daily basis, or periodical checkup has to be done. We normally do these medical checkup for food handlers, but now we have to make it mandatory that every health worker need to be periodically monitored, and they need to be periodically examined by a doctor and certified. Now, coming to the performance of the staff, as I said, now the customer's focus will be how this particular organization is promising me the required standard norms that is being mandated by the government, or by like all the media, all the health organizations. So in the past, we used to have maybe a 15 minutes 20 minutes gap in between treatment, but now it will be very critical for us to properly sanitize the place. You might have seen, like, one of the most prone area for these contaminations to spread is the locker rooms. Now it is very important for us to just reduce the close contact or human contact wherever it's possible. I don't know how it can be done, but like, I think we need to really reinvent the wheel to find out more innovative ways how we can actually reduce the customer contact, and how we can actually improvise on the standard at the same time. Without sacrificing the standard, we need to look at like innovative ways to improve. So staff performance in terms of like, I'm sure that the productivity per room will be slightly reduced or compromised in the initial phases, where we need to do a proper sanitation, and it takes time. It takes at least 15-20 minutes time for us to just like really disinfect the room and coming back to normal. One of the most common thing will be basically the face cradle, like the headrest, where people normally, like when they get a massage, like that is one of the area like which can be like highly contaminated, and that need to be properly sanitized. And treatments, like treatment in terms of I think as one of the speakers suggested, the beauty treatments will actually just take a little bit more time to just pick up, like, so people will be coming for more of an essential treatment. So another most important to improve the staff performance will be multi-skilled therapists. Okay, so we may not have the luxury of keeping beauticians or salon therapists or massage therapists all differently. We need to ensure that there's a lot of cross training that happens, where people pick up like different skills, so that our performance is at the optimum level.
Right. So if the productivity per room is dropping, then are we expecting huge layoffs?
May not be, but what I'm saying is like there may be some flexibility with the timing, like the shift hours. There has to be some form of that's what I said, like there has to be some form of innovative ways. The owners will have to just like discuss and find out like what actually perfectly fits their operation. Maybe you will have to like for day spas, like there may be a possibility of like opening for long hours and reduce number of services for each therapist or something like that. Like we need to find out like some innovative ways how we can actually overcome this.
Right. John Gee, there is this term that is thrown across whenever there is a discussion about salons and spas, which is furlough. Can you elaborate on what furloughing your employees is all about?
Well, very different legislations in France and in Europe, for instance. In America, everyone of the staff have been furloughed, and when I had the pleasure of hosting and organizing a series of webinars like you are doing for PB India, and I did it 2 weeks ago for PB UK, professional beauty in the United Kingdom, we had Maggie Dunphy, who is the group spa director, the corporate director of all the spas in the US for Hyatt. And we asked her, have you furloughed? What is the percentage of your team you have furloughed? She said, everyone, including me, she said. As the head of spas of Hyatt in the US, she also has been furloughed. When we were discussing with Six Senses, Anna Burstam, the vice president for wellness for Six Senses, she said, all of the staff have taken at least a 30 to 40% cut in their salary. And the CEO of Marriott said that with the board of directors, they have already decided about a month ago when he did a very vivid 3 or 4 minute video address on LinkedIn that has gone viral. He said he will not be taking any salary in 2020 in relationship of that. So in France, a lot of the staff has been furloughed, but we know, we have a very social prone, we are a capitalist country, but we're very social prone because of the socialist governments we had in the past. So the employee has lots of protections as far as medical care, sickness care, and unemployment care also. So right now in France, any esthetician that I'm not talking about sole entrepreneurs. I'm not talking the people who run their own business because they're in a different category. But the estheticians and massage therapists on payroll are staying at home and they receive 70% of their net income without working. And this is, for now, what the government says, and they have been sending checks. In Italy, no one is furloughed. No estheticians, no massage therapists has the right to be, furloughed or fired. They stay in the company. The company has to continue to pay for them their normal salary, but the government is, the Italian government is, I believe, giving 500 or 800 euros. In Greece, it's about the same with the lower number. Okay. So will people continue to be furloughed? So far, we don't know. It's starting. And the critical thing is, unfortunately, some salons and most of the salons and spas have 2 treatment rooms, 3 treatment rooms. So they're small businesses, and the owner or the manager of this place doesn't really know. They don't have an administrative director. They don't have a marketing director. They don't have an HR person to take care of that. So they have to go and knock on many doors and make many phone calls to know where they can get their help, where they can get their financial relief. So it's complicated for them, and still a lot of them are pegged down with administrative duties. So how long does it continue? We don't know. So this is the reason why we need to be very proactive and not reactive when things reopen.
Right. Rekha, what is your take on this? How is Indian spa industry responding to this? And is there any offer of help from the government?
Yeah, so overall, if we'll see the recently declared in the sense we all of us are knowing about this, MSME ministry said to us 27% GDP in the GDP, 27% comes from the MSME sector. Right. And we have the if it coming to the wellness and beauty sector, so we have the very few chain of salons and spa compared to the large number of MSME players. Yeah. In the industry. So when it comes to the government help, in fact, I'm organizing the one session with the Honorable Minister Gadkari, who is responsible for the MSME sector. And we do not have any help at this moment from the government. whatever is declared by the government, in fact, we had raised the question, non-collateral loans should be given to the industry, because as I mentioned earlier, like a few minutes before, about the cash flow. Once anyone opens this spa or salon, so first biggest problem for them will be like paying the rent, and especially metropolitan cities, spas will be facing the huge problem, because we have the huge number of, higher number of the rent in this sector. And in this case, if we go ahead and ask the government, so we do not have, at this moment, we do not have any answer from the government. Whatever is declared by the any ministry, but at this moment, and today, if you call any bank and ask for the without collateral loan, banks are denying. So that means there is no connection between the banks and the ministry. What is declaration is going on? So we need to raise this question, and that's the reason I'm I'm organizing one session with the wellness industry, with the MSME ministry, and let's see what happens. But then at this moment we are helpless. We do not have anything. That's the reason I'm saying, my worry is that is, other one side is the taking care of the customers, and customer will more demand for the more hygiene. Of course, we are in the hygiene industry, we are trying to do our best, but then when it comes to the MSME sector and MSME sector, individual spa owner, how much they can provide, how much they can put money from their side, where the spa industry is not already in the profitable ratio. They are always in the dicey situation, and top of that, all this crisis will definitely kill the business. So challenges will be more. Of course, everyone is preparing themselves and taking the precaution, personal protection or customer protection. All these things my colleagues are already mentioning, and SOP is so important for everybody. All these things we are mentioning. We are talking all these things, but then challenges will be on the individual level. There will be a lot of challenges. So we need to come as a industry together. And for everyone, we are aware about that. There is no strong organization who can work for the wellness, especially for the spa industry, and who can put up the question to the government. Top of that, if you are putting the question to the government, we do not have the we are not coming under the register organization. We are still in the segment of we are just moving ahead of the register, recognized organization, but though offering so much employment to the industry, still we are suffering for the certification. We are suffering for the government attention to the industry. So I feel challenges are both. It's a big challenge now.
So are you witnessing staff firing or layoffs right now in the spa industry?
I would say I do not want to comment at this moment, because I am in the both side. I will know both side. I am on the industry side also. I am on the operator side also. So I can't comment at this moment. It will be too early for me to talk on this topic. But yes, once I feel once it is open, then challenges or actual situation will come. That will be the different scenario. So I can't comment on this at this moment.
Right. Now, I would like to address a question very quickly to the entire panel. And this is like $1 million question that's been, that's at the core of this discussion. Will the customer return to the spas? Rekha, beginning with you.
Yes, because I will say customers will come to the spa, where now customer will always see two things, important things, and that's how I'm coming back again. The big organization will survive, and small organization will have the huge challenge, because customer demand will be more. As doctor mentioned about that, they will not look forward for the discount, but they will definitely look forward for the hygiene place. They will definitely look for the which organization is promising or giving the guarantee for the hygiene. And that will be the one of the top priority for the customer point of view. And wherever they find this organization is offering the security, or they are offering the taking the first priority as a hygiene, so customer will be definitely going there. But again, it will go gradually. We will increase our customer flow will increase in the industry. That will be gradually. But
Okay.
I'm sure for the beauty and hair and nails and all of them, I think so. This area will be opening faster than spa industry. So in the spa industry, I feel more on the few services like services which is like reflexology or services which we have to offer as a meditation or yoga or this kind of services will open faster than massages and all these things or beauty treatments. I'm because I have been attending and so Jengis or attending the all these world platform meetings with the Global Wellness Summit, and we have been already talking with the 50 to 60 countries almost in a week 2-3 times, and we have been talking about how industry will react, what exactly industry will open up in the after the COVID-19. So these are the things which everyone is talking on the world platform and as well as in India also. So I feel it is a spa industry as already in the problematic situation. Top of that, this all these challenges. So is big players has a role to play at this moment.
I think Rajan ji had something to say on that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was actually coming to Rajan. He has been quiet for some time now.
Yeah.
Yes, what would you like to add, Rajan, to this? Will the customer come back?
See, the customer has postponed the spa visit. And the movement the customer sees that it's safe to come back to the spa, they will return.
Okay.
And this is something which, I guess each spa owner, even whether it's a individual spa owner or it's a wellness retreat, now they should come and make a reopening plan. They should have a recovery plan, something like a pre-opening plan.
Right.
It is just that it's after a pandemic, and it is objective is very similar, that we need to make a safety image to our customer.
Right.
And this is something which is very crucial. See, a wellness customer is a very evolved customer, and after this pandemic, that customer is more demanding customer. So I guess this time of confinement can be used, use technology, connect with the staff, and share with them the desired safety expectations with them, so that they are able to build that client confidence. It is something which is very individual to each spa, but I am sure this can be done, because the way the coronavirus has come, it was very sudden, unannounced. Nobody literally knew how to handle it.
Yeah.
Now we are well aware of it, and this time can be used to explain them. As Dr. Manoj, he had very spoken on it, that this is the time that we can actually share these safety processes, these hygiene guidelines with them, so that they are all in the same page.
Right. Rajan, very quickly, there was this question that came from one of the attendees, Nigel Franklin, and I think you're the best person to answer this. Since the aviation industry is on a decline right now, almost shut down, will it affect spas in remote locations?
Okay. See, the aviation industry is spa in remote locations, and aviation industry, no, not really. Not really.
Okay.
It would not matter in that sense. See, the aviation is down. International travel has come down.
Yeah.
But if these the spas, it's more to do with the country to country.
Right.
Okay. So sudden this down of aviation is a particular phase. Once the movement starts coming in, the country starts picking up, the rules and regulations are released a bit, everything picks up.
Okay,
Everything
so it doesn't
picks up.
matter where your spa is located. If you
Yes.
have follow the right guidelines and maintain hygiene and sanitation, you will pick up business and the customer will come to you. Dr. Manoj, over to you. What do you think of my question? Will the customer come back?
See, on that aspect, the customer will definitely come back. But as I said, being a spa owner or spa managers, what is actually really important, in the past, we know every customer of ours by name and a designation, maybe like the city where they are from.
Yeah.
Now, this is the right time for us to know much more detail about our customer, and we have to really tap into that market, and we need to understand the psychological need of a customer. If you really want to just like bring in that business, like very soon, as soon as we open, then we need to really understand what are these emotional triggers that the customer is expecting in terms of like, what is the urgent need for them. So the basic need, if you are able to satisfy and meet the requirement of them, they will definitely come back to us. And as everyone believes, like there will be a different phases, like because initial phase, people may not be really traveling for leisure, they may not be taking like a family vacation. I mean, it may be do's and don'ts, I mean, a plus or minus, because sometimes like people might prefer to go with the family because they don't want to leave the children alone, like, or maybe they may not want to just like visit the spas or hotels, mainly hotel spas I'm talking about, not day spas. But the need of the customer, there will be a paradigm shift from what they were, or the reason why they were approaching a spa in the past, and what they would look for, like in a spa to provide, like in the coming days. I mean, with the kind of message that is going across, if you really look at the current COVID-19 situation, the whole focus was about people having low immunity, and also people in the elderly age, like all geriatrics. So that clearly indicates that there will be a need for improving your immunity. And the entire focus will be on improving the immunity, and also people who are in the vulnerable category, like which are basically people who have some of the lifestyle illnesses. So I think this is a golden opportunity for us to rewrite the meaning, the true meaning of a spa, beyond like just having a beauty and luxury. It is much beyond that. It is actually just to look after a personal health. It is actually one of the best preventive strategy. And also, as Rajan was saying, like, this is also an ideal time for us to put together some form of guidelines, because talking about India is a country where there is no proper standardization for a lot of practices, spa practices. There is no one single entity which coordinate all these operations together. I think this will be a golden opportunity. This closed down period will be an opportunity for us to maybe take some measures, like in that aspect, like the legal or logistical aspect, to put together something. There can be a Bible, like which can be a operating manual for the spa, which would be primarily focusing on all these different aspects, so that like the customer get much more confidence in coming back to the spas. But they will definitely come back.
So as Kanishka, as Jangi also mentioned, because washing hand is not the, like, grandmother used to give the advice, but it is like, it is how we are bringing in the practices is important. Today international platform, they talk about the golden milk is what? Haldi milk. But all these things is like, we had so many things to offer actually. In fact, I would like to say on this platform today, in fact, I got the opportunity through the one of the organization. I will be working with the WHO for the something on the bringing on the immunity and COVID-19, some test, scientific evidence what we are working on that. And thank you Janki. And this is UK, one of the UK organization who is working on the Ayurveda, and they and me together, we are putting up with the front of the WHO. And this is what we are going to work on the Ayurveda, which is actually giving the well-being lifestyle message from years and years. But today we are just ignorant. So I feel forget about the just taking the beauty treatments and massages. Spa has much more to offer, and everyone has to explore. And this is, as everyone is saying, it is a golden opportunity for the spa owners to bring something different menus and different offering.
I totally agree with you. And actually, this whole thing about Ayurveda was a question by one of the attendees, and you guys have already answered it, so I'm not going to reiterate it. Finally, I'll come to John Gee. What do you think about the customer coming back from a global perspective?
Very, very interesting inputs from Rajan, from Manoj, and of course from Rekha. I believe the big question is, what kind of customers will come back? What kind? Customers, that's very general. Men, women, age, lifestyle. We have usually different types of guests in spas. We have the regular guests who know you, they come back over and over, they come back maybe every month or every 3 months. So at least they will come 4 times or 6 times a year, and they come for results. They don't come because of the promotion. They come for the consistency of the treatments, the products, the specific touch. So they will come again to continue their treatments, their packages, their programs. They will come back. You'll always have also, on top of the regulars, you have aficionados. It's a Spanish word
Yes.
to talk about the spa addicts, the ones who always want to know what's new in their city, what's new in their country, because they have friends who are always telling them, where have you been? What kind of resorts have you tried? What kind of new treatment have you tried? And they always want to be on top of the story, because you can read from your magazine, Professional Beauty, or other public magazines about beauty and health and women fashion, all the trends about spa. So they want to be on top of the trends, and they will want to know. They will be the explorers. They will be the ones trying to have their story. I went to the spa. Oh, and how was it? And they will want to tell a story of safety. They will want to have this. Now, the occasional guests that represent for some 30 to 40, sometimes 50%, the tourists, the visitors, the ones who come with a gift certificate for a birthday, for a wedding anniversary, maybe they will not come back, because we need to take in consideration three questions. And Rajan definitely touched on one. Is it safe to return? And we will need to make sure that the information is communicated well as an industry. I think it's going to be very expensive for each and every one spa to communicate, to advertise, to say it is safe, come back. We need, as an industry, with associations, with federations, or with events like Global Wellness Day in June. And Rekha Choudhary has been a very passionate ambassador of Global Wellness Day for many years, and so have I in the past. That's in June. World Wellness Weekend on September 19 and 20 will be celebrated in 120 countries, including India, from sunrise in Fiji to sunset in Hawaii. For 2 days, we have the chance to come all together on one platform, on one map, with a geolocator to communicate to the journalists, the radio, the TV, the news magazines, the monthly, the weekly magazines, to say, we will be there. We will come up with our best answers, best products, best services. So it's a great media platform to get the message out, and it's free. It's free for properties to join. It's free to add your venue on the website and to be on the map. And then it's a collaborative effort to share this information with the media so that they can turn. Last year, for the third World Wellness Weekend event in September, there were 98 countries involved. There were over 2,300 venues participating, and we received 450 publications, TV, radio, reaching an audience of 224 million people. That's a lot of people we can touch with one event over one weekend. So is it safe to return? Then is it essential to return? And I believe a lot of people will go to their hair salons to have a haircut, or to have, root treatments, coloring treatments, not to have those white hairs coming back. So this is absolutely necessary. People want to look their best. Waxing also will be, I believe, a very popular, not for us men, I'm sorry, Manoj and Rajan, I don't believe we will go for these types of services, but a lot of people will go. However, habits have changed. And for the past 3 weeks, online orders of waxing device have really spiked up. So a lot of people, women, are doing it at home. Right. Will they go back to their beauty salon or spa to do it? It is a question we may ask. So is it safe to return, as Rajan said? Is it essential to go back? And as Rekha said, there are some treatments, and also Manoj said, Ayurvedic treatments, reflexology, boosting immune system, focusing on health. This is essential. If it's just about beauty and promotion, look your best, I'm not so sure. And then, is it affordable to return?
Okay.
And there will be tough choices in budget allocation, because for us, 60 euros for 1 hour massage is usually the average price, 60 euros, €1 per minute. And it's also $1 per minute, £1 per minute for a lot. Some upgrade, some hotel spas are charging 50% more. It's 90 euros per minute, or it can be 120 euros per minute in some very five-star hotels. Is it affordable to return? And Rajan said, international inbound tourism, very unlikely. Visa restrictions, absolutely a scenario to take into account. Things could change, we don't know, but definitely something to take into account. So local businesses, is going to be absolutely key. Therefore, are your treatments affordable to your local guest? And if I may, just a quick second, I'd like to touch on a question that I saw on the thread from Stavros Mavridis. He's also a World Wellness Weekend ambassador in Greece and also a very well-known consultant over there. And he's asking a question: how can technology help? And I believe technology has a big, the world is going digital. All the fitness instructors are going digital. Right now, there's not so much that spas can do digitally, except ask for the support of their regular guests and say, will you support us as a regular guest by buying a gift certificate that you can use in the next 6 months? Right now, we give you a special deal on the gift certificate. And when you come and redeem that gift certificate, you will have an increased value with us. Either you will have 20 minutes more on an hour. So this gift certificate, you pay for 60 minutes, you will get 80 minutes, or you buy 60 minutes, but not at the price of 60 minutes. And we will give you value for 70 minutes, maybe with some treatment. So this is definitely key. Also, I remember from 3 years ago at the World Spa and Wellness Convention in London, Frank Pizzikalis, who is the president of the iSpa Foundation, the International Spa Association Foundation, and they invest massively in statistics. I highly encourage you to go to iSpa, experience ispa.com to see all the resources that they have, not just for members, but also for people in the industry. And he said, as also the founder and CEO of Resort Suite, which is an online platform managing schedules and invoicing and programs and scheduling, he said this industry, that was 3 years ago, it's even more valid now. This industry is leaving so much money on the table. This industry is so immature with what they can do digitally. So in order to protect your team, can you have an online intake form that guests can sign in first? Can you have online booking so that when you know you will not be able to have treatments back to back, at least when you reopen, you can have special slots, special time slots in each day that people can book in advance with a specific therapist or for a specific therapy, and they can book in advance. Therefore, the owners can better manage, can better
this is actually adding to what Dr. Manoj said, that there would be a lot of time needed to sanitize the place. And if the online bookings are already done and your prior appointment is in place and all your forms and formalities are already done, then it would become much easier for the spas to process your request. Absolutely. So we are at the end of our session. Our 1 hour is up, and thank you so much, all of you, for joining in and giving such valuable inputs. I believe there are still a few questions from the attendees, which we will take offline. So we will personally get in touch with you for the answers and convey them to the attendees via our website. So stay tuned on professionalbeauty.in for a complete report on this session. You can, of course, also catch it on our Facebook link. We are also having another session coming up on Friday, 4 p.m. Indian time, on how top salon chains are managing the whole lockdown situation. So hope
before we let
Kanishka, and if someone wants to have the guideline what Jangi said, so we have also published a guideline for the industry on our platform Online Wellness, which is going to publish on the 5th of May. So anyone wants to, please, I'm ready to help everyone. Anyone can download that and they can implement in their spa or salons.
That would be fantastic. And Rekha, all the best to you for your endeavor in dealing with the government and getting some rebate for the spa industry. I really hope your proposal gets through.
Yes, at this moment, yes, Ministry has said for the coming on the webinar platform to meet the industry leaders. So let's see, only this, I'm just waiting for the date.
All the best for that. Yes, Khyati, you had something to add?
I was saying, Kanishka, thank you for hosting this, and I'd like to thank the whole Professional Beauty team. Would like to thank each one of our panelists for being here, and having this house full of a session and this discussion that has been very insightful for the entire industry, attending not just on Zoom but also on our Facebook session. So thank you. Thanks to each one of you.
Thank you so much. and we'll get in touch with you for the attendee questions. It was great having you all and lovely inputs. We had a very nice and healthy discussion. Hardly any debate or arguments. So lovely to have you guys, and hope to catch up with you for more such spa sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so very
you.
much, all
Thank
of
you,
you.
everybody.
And it reminds me that in the meaning of Namaste, there's also this meaning of
Very
we are
good.
one.
This is
And-
actually
and we-
practical now.
Yes.
I think we can all say that.
First time in use.
Namaste.
Namaste.
We are one.
You can
all of
you
us
can
on
take one
planet.
photo of ours. Namaste.
Yes, let's everyone do a namaste and take a group picture.
Yeah.
Kathy, are you doing the honors?
I will do the honors. Since the whole world is using the namaste, I think yes, we should do that. Yeah, I got you a print screen. Thank you, guys. I'll share
Thank
it
you
with
so
each
much.
one. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Watch for this weekend,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.